You might have seen him with Frank Costello, John Gotti, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, just to name a few. You might have read his book, The Accidental Gangster. You might have seen him on podcasts and doing interviews with such people like Vlad TV. Ladies and gentlemen, Ori Spado.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get right into it. What would you tell a young person thinking about entering the life of crime?
Don't do it. There's only two ways you end up. You're going to end up dead or in prison. In today's world, there's too many other opportunities for the young, and I recommend going to college, find a trade, but whatever you do, make sure it's something you love doing, and that way it's not a job. But stay out of a life of crime. Okay, you can't walk down the street without a camera being on you. You probably can't even stay in your home without a camera being on you. So for young people, and I mentor many, okay, stay out of life of crime.
Good answer. What does crime take away from you that people don't realize?
Your freedom.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. When did you realize your choices had serious consequences?
Well, I always knew there would be consequences. And it's really funny, wasn't for things that I did. It basically was for things I didn't do, and I ended up on a RICO indictment with the Colombo crime family in Brooklyn, New York.
From all the gangsters and celebrities that you met in your life, who was your favorite gangster and who was your favorite celebrity that you ever met? And why?
Well, I gotta say Frank Costello. Well, the favorite gangster that I spent a lot of time with, I was in the company of Frank Costello a few times. But I gotta say, and a lot of people are going to be stunned by what I say, but the best gangster that I ever knew was my dear mate, Joey Pyle, the head of the firm in London. I always consider him the Frank Costello of London. We thought the same. You can get more done with your brain than you can with a gun. And it's got to be Joey Pyle. If you don't know who he is, you got to look him up, because there's nobody like him. And now his son's an awful lot like him. And I'm close to the whole family. His son, his grandchildren, yeah. But he was a remarkable guy.
For sure.
Favorite celebrity. Well, I did date one of the most famous celebrities that was every man's dream. A gal from who was on Gilligan's Island. But I gotta say, Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin.
Why Dean Martin?
Yeah. Huh?
Why would you say Dean Martin?
He was cool. He was cool. He was a real man. A gentleman. He was kind. He helped his friends. Yeah.
What mistake taught you the hardest lesson in your life?
Getting divorced.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. When you did 30 months in the feds, um,
I
was there
did
any?
60
Oh,
months.
excuse me. When you did 60 months in the feds, did you see anything crazy in there that just stuck with you?
Well, I seen a fight with the Mexicans. I seen them take an ear off somebody. You know, does it stick with me? Not really. Prison is prison. All right, it's like anything else in life. It's a mindset. I knew that someday I could possibly end up in prison, and I did. I didn't end up there the way I thought I would, okay? But I did end up on a Colombo crime family indictment. I got extradited from Los Angeles to Brooklyn. I was put in MDC Brooklyn, uh, which is a real shit. It was a shit over there. I hear it only got worse. And I did 30 months there and fought my case. And once I took a plea deal, finally I was almost going to trial. And I ended up doing my last 30 months up in Lampo. Now, if I had to make a choice, what place did I really like better? Well, Lompoc, you had more freedom. I got out in the yard. I was able to see the sun. I wasn't able to do that in MDC. You don't see the sun. You don't get outside. There's no yard to walk. Okay, the food sucks. But in MDC, I was with a lot of Italians because, you know, all the crime families and everybody was there. So there was, it was much different because, you know, we cooked and we had our own table. When I got to Lompoc, there were only a couple of Italians there. You know, I didn't care for Lompoc, I'd be honest. But it was nice being able to get outside and walk the yard every day.
I bet. Right. How important is it choosing the right people to surround yourself with?
Well, that's the biggest mistake a lot of people do, okay? Is they surround themselves with the wrong people. You gotta find people. Surround yourself. I want to talk to the young people here, okay? You know, a lot of you don't know who Aristotle Onassis was. But he was one of the wealthiest men in the world. He ended up marrying Jacqueline Kennedy. But they asked him a question one day. If you ever went broke, what would you do? And this was in New York City. And he says, I would find one of the best apartment buildings here on Park Avenue. And I would get on the elevator and ride the elevator all day so that I could rub shoulders with the rich people. Now, if you do that in any walk of life, okay, surround yourself with good people, respectful people, honest people, all right? And you gotta be able to communicate. People don't communicate no more, okay? People think they got a phone. They think they're on Instagram. or Facebook, and they think those people are their friends. They're not your friends. You don't know them. You never seen them. Okay? But they think they are. Okay? And people are glued no matter where you're from. You walk down the street, everybody looking at their camera. They're not looking at what's ahead of them, what's behind them. You got no clue of what's going on in the world. So now what social media has done, it's taken away, all right, for people to really meet, to see each other, to be able to talk to each other. Because unless you could talk to somebody and look in their eyes, you don't know what they're about. Okay? Texting is bullshit. In my opinion, I'll stick to that. I'll die with that.
I like that answer. Is there anyone you trusted that you shouldn't have?
Yeah. Yeah. Informants. People that end up informing.
What would you tell someone who's feeling like there's no way out?
There's always a way out. People got to learn to change the mindset. Now, you know, I'm the author of this best-selling book, The Accidental Gangster, From Insurance Salesman to Hollywood Fixer. Okay? From insurance salesman, let's take that part. I was very successful in the life insurance business and selling life insurance. Why was I successful? I was a hustler, number one. But more importantly, I loved what I was doing because I knew what good I was doing by knocking on doors and selling people insurance. Okay, because I knew what the benefits of that would provide them someday. And there's a book that everybody should read, and it's this book here, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You got a lot of people today, they want to pay this guy $5,000, this guy $2,000. Yeah, I'm going to help you, I'm going to make you rich, and bullshit. Read that book. That's all you need. Cost you $10. It's on Amazon. And follow the principles in that book. You'll become a better person. You'll become more successful. You'll become more loving. But you gotta follow. Life is a mindset. Where you can conceive and believe, you can achieve.
How you rub shoulders with some of the biggest celebrities and some of the biggest gangsters. Like, did you have a sense of power at all, or did you never felt like that at all?
No. Look at jails are full of powerful people, greedy people, and jealous people. Never let your ego overtake you. You should always be humble. You should always listen.
Yes, sir.
God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth. He wanted you to do twice as much listening than talking. Okay? Try to always walk in another man's shoes. Okay? We're not always right, we're not always wrong. But, you know, and most importantly, and I said that on my show today, I grew up at a very good time in history. I grew up at a time where our parents taught us respect, honor, loyalty, and all the good things. You know, had to be home for dinner every night. You were a real family. Okay. Today, the youth, they don't even know what respect is. Okay? They don't know what a gentleman is. They don't know how to open a car door for a woman. They don't know how to walk down the street with a woman. Then they wonder why they can't get a woman. And I get a lot of young ladies that write me and ask me, why are there no gentlemen left? Okay? Alright? What do guys do today? They don't dress up. They got a date, they go out in their shorts, alright, looking like a shithole, alright? I got a date, I get dressed, I put a suit and tie on, and I leave my phone at home. Because you go in a restaurant, somebody's dating them. I see it all the time here in Beverly Hills. Guys out on a date, they're both sitting at the table looking at their phone. They're not talking to each other. And if I got a date, I tell the woman, leave your phone at home. Because I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to look at you. I don't want to look in your eyes. I want to know what you're about. I want you to know what I'm about.
What's more valuable to you? Money, respect, or freedom? And why?
Well, I have to say, after being in prison, freedom. Freedom is nothing. Alright? Because as long as you have your freedom, you have the ability to make as much money as you want. We're all have unlimited ways to make money, especially if you're young. But you gotta work. You gotta put in the time. You gotta be dedicated. You gotta love what you're doing. So, you know, what freedoms do we have? Well, here they say we're the most free country in the world. That's a myth. We're not. There's other countries that are much freer, much happier than we are here in the United States. Hang on, please.
All right. Can you explain the difference between a real friend and associate?
A real friend? A real friend is a friend that you got a problem, pick up the phone, he's there. Okay? A real friend. I'm a real friend to my friends. They got a problem, boom, I'm right there. I don't say wait till next week. I can't do it till tomorrow. Okay? I don't come up with any bullshit. Alright? I mean, I got a dear friend. It's a guy in Nashville, Tennessee. Probably the best friend I got. He's like a son, in a way. But boom. He's there for me. And I'd be there for him. Okay? Sometimes your friends are closer than your family. Family is family, but friendship, if a man can go through life and have three friends, he's a very lucky man. And this is what I was saying earlier. These people on YouTube or TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, they're not your friends, okay? And look, I got 90,000 followers. You think those people are my friends? I don't know them.
With all the flock cameras and new technologies out, do you really think living a life of crime pays?
Well, I said that earlier. No, you're not going to get away with nothing. Look, I live right here in Beverly Hills. Here I live on a quiet street. But you go up 2 doors up, all right, to the corner. There's cameras, all right? Go down the block, there's cameras. No matter where you go, there's block cameras, there's time cameras watching what you're doing. Buildings have cameras. And then what about the people walking? They all got cameras. And what's the first thing they're going to do if there's a problem? Boom, they put their camera on, they're filming it. Next thing you know, you're on the news. All right, so you want to go into crime? Are you nuts? Okay.
Yes, sir. Final question. If you could give today's youth one warning based on your life, what would it be?
Based on my life, one thing I've done as a gangster, as a civilian, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.